Hello and welcome. My name is Javier Rivera, and today in our DTF series we're going to be installing a CISS, a continuous ink supply system. So for this supply system we're going to be using the original Epson cartridges, and then just stay tuned for the end. I'm going to give you a couple of hints and tricks and some things that you want to be aware of. So without further ado, let's go ahead, let's get started. Alright guys, so here I'm going to share you the secret for using the stock Epson tanks on a continuous ink system. So pretty much what we're going to do, so I'm going to be using a little bit of my 3D printer media. This is ABS plastic. So we're going to be using that. I'm waiting for my soldering gun to heat up real quick. And what we are going to do, and this is all you have to do, is we have to cover the vent hole. Let me try to see if I can zoom in. There you go. So as you guys can see right here, that is a vent port. That little hole we have to cover. That's the secret for the continuous ink system. If not, it will not suck any ink in because your vent port is not allowing the suction to go through. So we're going to go ahead real quick and we're going to fill this up. And I'm going to be using plastic. So let's go ahead and get that done real quick. So. Now, when you're melting plastic, be careful because of the fumes. So I'm going to try to work behind the camera, see if you guys can see this, but pretty much. And again, I'm melting it with plastic. You can use glue, you can use anything like that. I like to use a solder gun because once this plastic melts, it becomes pretty much part of it and it's not coming off. I've never used hot glue. I think it might work. Again, the whole concept is that it will not come off. Oh, water. And there you have it. That's it. So now that it's going to dry up, that vent port is filled up, and now that is, see, I do it again with plastic, and then that way I don't have to worry about that coming out and then the ink, then this running dry. So that's the secret. From there on, let's continue with the install. All right, guys. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have, so the black one, it's going to be our longest one. Okay, it's going to be our longest run. So then this side right here is going to be my longest run. So this right here is going to be the longest one. So what you want to do is you want to just grab it with your nails and kind of separate them. Okay. Just be careful not to damage the hoses. And now what we're going to do is we're going to cut. So again, this is our black, so that's going to be the longest one. And then we're going to cut this one a 1/4 inch shorter. And then the next one's going to be a 1/4 inch shorter than the next one, and so on, escalating. So, I mean, going down, sorry. So 1/4 inch apart. So there you have it. So we're going to cut it a 1/4 inch apart, okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to install these little 90 elbows, okay, with the barb fitting going into our hose, okay? So now I got to figure out how we're going to route this. So I'm thinking, right around here, that's usually what I do. All right, now what I'm going to try to get is a little bit of heat transfer tape. I'm going to do a printhead cleaning so I can unlock the printhead. See, I don't like that, so then I did the tape too close because now it's going to pull on this. So I got to move this tape a little bit further back. All right, so I got a full travel. That's what I want. Now, the only thing I can tell you is when you're putting, if you're going to put tape here, make sure that your tape is not coming underneath of it, because if you leave it too long, every time your print head goes by, it's gonna hit it, and you're gonna hear like a plastic hitting on plastic, and you might get paranoid. So there you have it. Now I'm gonna turn it back on and do a print head cleaning. This one I'm just gonna leave around here on the corner. Now the cartridges, I put 15 milliliters before I do anything. Make sure that they're to the top. This little air bubbles don't matter when I do the print head cleaning. Now that's gonna go ahead and get rid of those air bubbles and remove them. The only thing that I can tell you is that just make sure these are filled, because now that the air bubble goes in there, it's going to be, the cartridge is going to be like 3/4 full. And actually, that's where I like them. On a continuous ink, I don't like them like full all the time. It's going to continuously fill them. So I always like to leave a little bit on the top. All right, guys. So there we have it. That is continuous ink system on the original Epson cartridges. I'm doing a solid image so that I can see, the full white and everything. So then you guys can see that. And then that's a new continuous ink tank. That'll be easier to shake, and if we ever have a spill or anything like that, a lot easier to clean than the other style. But just wanted to share with you guys how to do the original Epson cartridges with a continuous ink system. So there you have it. So there you have it, guys. That is pretty self-explanatory, pretty simple. Again, key component is making sure that your cartridges are fully sealed, that you have a good seal around the hose and the seal and everything like that, and it's not vented. So if you're using the foam ones, okay, you're going to make sure that you put that little clear plug in it, okay? I understand that you don't use it when you're just using this, but now that you have a continuous ink system, you need to create suction, and having that vent will not allow you to do that. So you're going to put that little cap in here. If you have the original ones, okay, that little side vent, you're going to have to close it. You could use glue, you can use anything. I like to use the same plastic because I know it will never open up. You could use tape. I don't recommend it, because if it comes off, then the only thing is it's not going to supply ink. You're going to see that that line is not going to be feeding in, because again, you're letting air in and you're not creating suction. So key number one is having your cartridges pretty much well sealed, okay? Now, key number two, on your continuous ink system, when you're using it, you gotta let it breathe, okay? A lot of people use the vents on the back. The only thing is, I noticed that when I do that, every time I'm gonna fill it up, then I'm opening the big one to fill it. So what I do is I just keep that fill hole, I keep it open every time I'm using it, and then if I gotta fill it, I just fill it up right there, and then I don't stop using it. So that's what I do. I don't recommend these. I have made it a couple of times, as you can see, because this is concealed. I forget when I'm going to start printing if I cap my inks or not. And there'll be times that I'll start getting clogs on the ink, and you can see that the ink is going bad because I left it open. And it stayed open for 2-3 days, and then I'll drain it because I don't dare to use that ink, and I don't want to risk pushing a little clog into the printer or whatever. The other thing is, when I'm shaking them, if I forgot to close it, don't ask me how I know, there'll be ink everywhere, as you can see. So that's why I don't recommend this one. If you have it, it is a great continuous ink system. The only thing is, being Hav, yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. So I'll have ink everywhere. So now with the new ink system that I have right now, because it's wide open, before I shade my inks, then I know that it's capped or not. And I've been so good, knock on wood. So, and again, Just make sure you have a good seal. Where you lay your hoses, that is up to you. If you want to put the tank on the left, if you want to put it on the right, or where you want to put it, that's up to you. The key point is that you have a good seal around these, okay? That you cut them a 1/4 inch apart, escalation. That will give you that angle that you want. And pretty much that's it. If you want to use tape to hold the hoses, or if you want to use the clip that comes in stock, I use it too. It doesn't matter. You're not, as long as the hoses don't kink. If your hoses are not like kinked and it's not supplying ink, yeah, that's bad. Other than that, if you see that hoses going back and forth, don't worry about it. They're gonna be fine, okay? So don't think that they're gonna stop supplying ink. As long as you're creating that suction and it's going in, you're fine. So again, key point, cartridges fully sealed, okay? And the continuous ink, then vented. So your tanks are gotta be vented, the cartridges fully sealed. And that's it. That's all it takes to make a continuous ink system on anything, okay? I know that this is for DTF, but that is for anything. For sublimation, for any printer, you can make it a continuous ink system. And again, it's up to you where you want to lay the hoses. That pretty much is no preference. I don't like to purge the lines a lot. And the reason why is I have noticed that, especially on these, if you overfill them and you keep them overfilled, eventually they're gonna start pushing way too much ink into the print head and you might have ink everywhere. So what I've done is I don't fully purge the line. I always leave a little bit of air. That way, when that air comes in here, my tanks are gonna be half full. That's what I like to run. Again, you're continuously feeding ink into it. So no matter your level, you're going to be fine. Okay. You're not going to run out of ink as long as your tanks are fine. But I don't like to have them like completely full, because I don't want, if I'm not printing or I'm taking a quick break and I'm not printing for an hour or two, I don't have to be afraid that ink might fall into the print head because I have too much ink in here. So again, half is good. So fill them up and don't fully purge them. Always leave a little bit of air on them. And then when you start printing, that bubble will come in here and then you'll see that level come down and then you'll be perfect. That's what I do. It has always worked for me. Never had an issue. So other than that, guys, if you got any questions, leave it on the comments. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. And again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.